Hello, good morning or good afternoon. So today is a quite exciting day for me because we're actually going to start building raised beds more properly than what I had done before. I'll show you that in a minute. What I've done historically is, because I didn't have the material available, I was basically just piling up whatever I had available, which also wasn't great. Been telling people I'm growing vegetables in dust with water. It's not entirely true because we did have a bit of a fast composting going on, but it had all sorts of issues. It's very suboptimal. It is what we had available, because you remember, when the zombies come, you don't have many choices, you just work with what you have. But now we've been able to score some affordable material that we can actually use to raise the edges of the beds. So if you're just going to have a quick look at this, they're basically rolls of pine cuttings. Each roll cost me about €5. No, not about, cost me €5 plus delivery. I didn't have the means to pick them up, otherwise I would have skipped that as well. And if I order a bigger number, I get the delivery for free. And the guy told me that this would be covering about 3 meters of straight line. And inside of here, because it's uneven dimensions of the material, it's not all the same, it's some kind of a waste wood cutting. It should have 70 pieces minimum and should cover 3 meters minimum. Well, I just unrolled the first one and I'm quite excited because it was 5 meters 40. Obviously I can't assume that that's the case for each and every one of them, but at first glance they do have similar texture with regards to the thickness of the pieces. Hello Prajna. Every time there's the cat in the video, everyone has a cameo. It's definitely going to be more than 3 meters no matter what. It might be 4.5, it might be 5, maybe 540 is really optimistic, but either way it's a lot more than what I thought, significantly more, right? Almost like 70%, which is brilliant. 20 rolls, €5 each, pretty good. The cheapest I could find. Now obviously the issue is it's fairly, it isn't very wide, which comes with its own issues. And the issue obviously is I'll need a lot more screws or nails or whatever in order to attach them to anything. But even with that, and doing the calculations, it seems that that's going to be a lot cheaper than buying any type of other wood. And I haven't yet found a source for free scrap materials. I've seen some things, but I don't have the means to pick them up either. So there's a challenge. I can't get to the wood, so buying cheap wood, which is also replicable, turns out to be a better solution for me, at least in the meantime, than buying a truck or anything like that. And so the idea is, and I've started the project here, and just because they have different thicknesses, I'm also going to use these pieces on the opposite side in order to actually connect them to each other. I've sorted out some of the thicker ones simply because they have a bit more stability, and the screws of a certain length, so that together, hopefully not too many come out at the end. There will be some, and that's okay, the plants are not going to care, but trying to do it as optimal as possible. So I've started about the first meter over here, as you can see, and in these positions here we do have basically a connecting part, like this, overlapping, so that we can have the small pieces also being used for the backside in order to do the connection. And then I'll just need to do the calculation. I'll just do 2 meters and then I'll average that out to see how many screws I will need per meter, and then I can do a rough calculation of what I would need for the entire space, which, for those that haven't seen it or for those that don't remember, this is the space that I'll be trying to occupy. And we have a good example here. This is one of the later beds where I have done a bit more digging, insofar as I've piled up a little bit more of my dust with water. It doesn't have sufficient height in order to sustain most vegetables. And the quality of the soil is debatable, and you can see here, you know, besides always finding rubble on this land from whatever previous constructions and material that has been dumped here, you do find here some organic material. You know, it was a fast compost. You find a lot of the brown material still in here, just to try to add a little bit of organic matter to this, because basically what this is, we had this, you know, this dust, which is, when it's wet it looks quite black and dark, but it's, you know, it's not great soil, but it's better than the base clay soil that we have at the bottom, which, you know, after a layer of dust is like hard as rock, literally. You know, it's getting into that is tough, and here it's actually easier than on most parts further out. So it's a mix of that soil loosened up a little bit, like it's supposed to be a no-till garden, but I needed some loosening up in order for the roots to have any chance. Remember, this is year one. I just don't have the luxury to do topping up with lots of brilliant compost and soil and organic matter that I've created over time. We just started this 6 months ago. We needed to start growing food, right? We want to survive this. So I needed to work with that, and you know, hopefully the planet will forgive me. And then I've mixed that up with, you know, some hot composting. Like, I've got to check on the chickens, because it's the first time I've got chickens and cats out together, so to speak. You ladies okay? Is there a cat with you? We'll go check that in a minute. So that mixed together with this a bit darker dust material, which is not really sandy, but probably has some sand elements in it, but it's more loose, it's more fine. So that has combined to, so to speak, the best soil that we have at the moment. And obviously these edges here come with a lot of problems. We've got erosion because of water runoff. We also have erosion because of cats digging into the edges, or the chickens. Every now and then a chicken escapes this temporary setup that I'm having over there. Yeah, and the cats are very, very interested. This is the most vicious one. We love him to bits. We had seen him before, that's Prajna, but I don't trust him. He does get the evil eyes when he sees birds or chickens. So let's just hope this all goes well and don't have to tell you another story about dead chickens and how to prevent it by not mixing them with the cats. So yeah, so this is the project. I've made a design for this whole area. Obviously it's going to be a gradual transition into the new layout, because the new layout doesn't fit the existing beds, and some beds are still doing really well and growing. Others I want to plant as quickly as possible with a winter crop. So that's why I'm trying to get in some of these outer areas here, where, you know, here we had chickpeas, there's nothing left. I'm starting still some beans and peas over here, even though, you know, we've got beginning of September now. That might not turn into anything anymore, but we had a really shitty year for that type of crop, because the slaters just keep eating all our seedlings. And this bed was also fully planted, and this is what has survived, potentially. Trying to use these old plastic bottles to protect them a bit, but it's all still suboptimal, and we don't have a solution for the slaters yet. I wonder what that's going to be in which year. But this outer area here we had some potatoes. This is almost empty. You know, here's where we're going to start putting the new bed structure in. I will be relocating some of the plants that we still have here, which will hopefully survive it. Like here, for example, we have some cauliflower, which never really did very well because it was overgrown by some white melons, and it has barely produced anything. All I really do fundamentally is I use the leaves of the cabbages or the cauliflowers to feed the chickens with. Those I want to relocate because we have, obviously, because of the previous conditions, and this is one of the first beds, that's a little bit of a mix of a little bit of like a compost that we bought that I had available, but really, you know, there's like 2 or 3 centimeters of something more loose, and then we hit rock, you know, the clay rock, so to speak, and this which means we have huge issues here with ground penetration. I mean, look at this root system here. It's basically just growing a bit sideways and then fallen over. They're not very deep in the land. Any type of different soil with better ability to develop and maintain a root system should be very welcome, even if they die, or some of them die. You know, it's not going to be the worst. It's also going to be an experiment. Can you do that? What will happen afterwards? How many are going to survive? You know, all that type of stuff. So we will see what's going to happen when we do that, so that we can start the structure here. Then it will free up a few things here. I mean, here, for example, we've got some kale and some salads that I'm letting go to seed. But other than that, this bed's mostly empty because we harvested the beetroots and whatnot. And then this becomes available. So, you know, gradually I'm going to try to work my way through the areas where there's nothing to harvest anymore before I plant something new. So my pessimistic prediction is that it's going to take me 6 months to transition it all over. But considering that this whole creation is only 6 months into the project, it might actually end up being a lot faster. We don't know that yet. So this is what we've got right now. Here we're getting started, and then I'll keep you posted with the updates in the next days to see what happened afterwards. And yeah, I'll see you then.